You ready, ma'am? And we are now back into open session. The closed session ended at, what time do you have, ma'am? 6:49. 6:49. And all the trustees that went into closed session are now back in open session. Go to item 6, open session. A, consideration to approve the employment of new professional staff, ma'am.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the employment of new professional staff.
Motion.
Motion made by Secretary Reyes.
Second.
His recommendation, seconded by Member Javier Espinosa. Comments, questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. B, consideration to approve the employment of new at-will staff.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the employment of new at-will staff.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Secretary Reyes Espinosa, seconded by Member Nora Guerrero. Comments, questions? All right, let's go and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. All right, we'll now go to item 7, consent action items. We have A and B, consideration to approve the minutes for the board meetings held on July 8th, 2024, special meeting, July 12th, 2024, special meeting, July 22nd, 2024, regular meeting, and July 24th, 2024, special meeting. And also, of course, to approve the monthly bills for July 2024. I wanted to make a comment that on the July 22nd and July 24th, I was absent, so on those, I'm going to have to abstain. So I don't know if we can vote separate.
Let her recommend, and you can abstain, and that way we go.
This is your line item.
We separate them? Sure, yeah, you can do that. All right, let's go ahead and is there a motion on the floor to approve the July 8th, 2024 special meeting and the July 12th, 2024 special meeting as presented?
Motion. Motion.
Okay, motion made by Member Espinosa to approve, seconded by Secretary Reyes Espinosa. Comments, questions? Let's take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes 6-0. All right, let's go on to minutes of July 22nd, 2024 regular meeting and July 24th, 2024 special meeting. Motion on the floor.
Recommendation.
Ma'am, what's your
The
recommendation?
recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the minutes.
Okay. Motion made by Secretary Reyes Espinosa to approve the recommendation. There a second?
Second.
Second made by Member Javier Espinosa. Comments, questions? Go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in favor. Any against? Abstentions? 2 abstentions. Motion passes 4,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
0, 2. Comment, ma'am?
Yeah, just for the record, I was absent on that day as well.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
We have also consideration to approve the monthly bills for July 2024. Recommendation, ma'am?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the monthly bills for July 2024.
The motion on the floor?
Motion.
Motion made by Secretary Reyes Espinosa to approve the recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Second made by Member Javier Espinosa. Comments, questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes 6-0. Yes. All right, at this time, we're going to move a couple of items, informational items up to the front, and those will be
Action item.
they're informational items, STAR 2024 scoreboards and the 2024 summer program. Ma'am?
Going to begin with our STAR 2024 scoreboards. Mr. Moreno will open with a brief introduction, and then we'll call the principals to come and present their campus outcomes. And this is the end-of-year performance. Matthew?
So that's 2024, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And y'all, they should have had a copy. You should have a copy.
Yes, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
I don't have one of those.
So I'm going to be presenting Dr. Tomas Vidal Elementary end-of-year school report for the 23-24 school year. And so on, I have so looking at the information that you're going to see, and this is going to be the same format for all of the campuses. Our campus at Dr. Tomas Vidal, we do not have a STAR assessment tied to it, but we do have a couple of the other assessments that flow through each of the campuses, including ISD, which is ISIP. This is the one you're going to see here. So at the end of the school year last year, we had 264 students. When we look at our attendance from the end of 23 to the end of 24, we had a 1% increase. And although that may seem like it's just 1%, that is actually that's a gain overall. So that is the direction we do want to see it going in. We did have a truancy officer this school year at the campus, as all the campuses did, and so it does help to have one person just really in charge of getting the kids in, contacting the parents, doing a lot of that follow-up documentation. So we did see an increase there. The next thing we have our PEAM student data. All of the campuses have our data, especially in STAR, and it is broken down by the disaggregated data. One of the things that they look at, which is the spike that you see here, is out of all of our students, 92% are ECODIS, economically. So that's our population. The reason it's important for us to know that is because what are we doing to try to support those students? We already know that ECODIS students come with challenges, and so what are we strategically and what strategies are we using to try to support those students so that they are making academic gains? Our teacher certification ratio last year, certified, we had 64%, and 36% of our teachers were alt-cert. Moving on down, we have our M-class results. So looking at that data there, if you look at the numbers below, approaches, meets, and masters, and this is one data that none of the other campuses have. We have it only at the elementary campus, but that is 63% of the students that would have been at approaches, meets, or masters in reading. So that's a good number that we want to see. The next tile that you're going to see here are the early math results for end-of-year diagnostic data, and this is the ISIP. When you hear iStation, when we talk about iStation data and ISIP and monthly assessments, this is the one that we're referring to. So at the end of the year, overall, 90% of the students completed the assessment. Sometimes students were absent. If they are, for example, special needs, some of those students are exempt, which means they do not have to take that assessment. So you're not always going to see 100% here because it's not going to be 100% based on the student. So if you look at our math results, level 1 and level 2, that is what we call tier 3. It's kind of flipped. Level 4 and 5, that's your tier 1. So we want to see the 4 and 5, specifically the 5, way up. So looking at our, and again, this is math, counting these 3 here, on pre-K we had 68% of the students that were above overall in math for the year. In kindergarten, we had 74% of the students, I'm sorry, this is reading, in reading above where they were supposed to be. And I know at the end of the year, we presented some data to the teachers, and Matthew was able to download some of this information for me. And when we look at student by student, 83% of the students were reading on, or kindergartners were reading on or above reading level. And those are the ones that are starting first grade this year. They started first grade today. So our kindergarten teachers are really doing a lot in getting those kids where we want them to be. And this is a pictorial image of where that looks. So remember the ISIP monthly? So this is last year, September for pre-K, and then you can just look over at the kindergarten, but here you have all of the months all the way up to May. So as you look at the data, kindergarten and pre-K, it's an upward trend, which is what we want to see. Any questions on this particular slide? Go to the map. So this data, the information at the top is the same, but for math, 99% of the students took the assessment. If we look at pre-K, that's 82% of the students. I know it's a bar graph here, but I'm also giving you the percentage. 82% of our pre-K students are where we want them to be in math, which is really good. And in kinder, 87% of the students are doing well per the ISD data. And so again, here you have kindergarten quantiles. We do not have quantiles for pre-K, only for kinder. So this is the one that you do get to see here. And this is the national trend, this line that you see here, based on where the students started. But when you look at the diamonds, that's where our students actually performed. So as you can see, our students, starting about November, kept going above what is considered the national trend line. So way above where we expect them and where we want them to be. Any questions on math?
That was for math, right?
That was for math, my second page is math. And so I asked the teacher, so how, reflecting back on the school year and how we'll be able to get the results that we were able to get. And of course, the teachers always, well, we want to do better, you know, we want 100% of the students above where they need to be. And one of the things the teacher said was adaptability, that they're able to make changes as needed to better fit the needs of the students. How is it that the students are best going to learn? And so they have the autonomy to do that, to where, okay, this is working for this group, this isn't working for this group, so I'm going to do what that group needs to learn. And so in that way, all of the students grow. Another teacher said small group intervention, that they are able to reteach and relearn. They are lesson planning and preparing, making lessons hands-on and engaging for the students. Collaborating with colleagues is important. One of the teachers said, I find myself stuck in a lesson and a colleague will share what is working for them. So that collaboration is very important with the teachers. Individualization, letter knowledge, numeral identification, small group activities, center activities to review skills not yet mastered. So again, that's what some of the things that are working at our campus. Any questions?
Yes, how many of your staff members are coming back? Did you lose anybody? Staff members, teachers?
One.
That's good.
And so, yeah, and we are trying to build a good culture and climate at our campus. One of the things that we discussed at the beginning of the school year was, I guess, a motto: the grass is greener where you water it. And so we're not looking at somewhere else. We're not looking at neighbors or another campus even. Our campus, what can every single person do to make our campus better? To make every student feel welcome, that they want to come to school, that they want to learn. And so that's kind of what we started off this school year, along with other initiatives that we were working on. And so that really seems to have taken hold with the staff. So today was a really good day. It was very positive. The students, some of them are coming and crying, but that's because they're babies. But for the most part, the kids were very, very happy. This, you know, the ones who are returning.
Staff came and cried.
Any staff came and crying?
Staff crying, no.
Ms. Berme, I wish I was dropping off my 3-year-old at your campus instead
Oh.
of senior sunrise.
Yeah.
Oh, it started, right? Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you, Maria.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next, Ms. Mata will be presenting the scorecard for end of year, Lorenzo de Zavala Elementary.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So our scorecard, our campus enrollment at the end of the school year was at 322. We did go up that 1%. As a district, we're implementing a lot of initiatives to ensure that our attendance does stay at a very high rate. So we're looking forward to getting an even higher attendance rate this school year. Maya did a very good job at explaining this PAIM student data, so I will go over this. Our teacher certification, we had 30% teachers that were under ALTCERT and 70% teachers that were certified. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this for now. I'll come back to the STAR because I want to touch base on on our ISD. And so if we look at ISD and we look at our levels, kind of like Maria had mentioned, she mentioned level 1 is our tier 3, and we want our students to be at level 3, 4, and 5. But what we've noticed and what we've identified is that our students that are at level 2, our high level 2 students, those students are already at approaches. So we've already identified that, so we focus even on those level 2s to move them over to level 3s. We know that at level 3s, they're already meeting grade level demands. And so in looking at first grade, out of 82 students, we had 53 students at levels 2 through 5 and 29 students at our tier 3. When we look at second grade, we had 61 students out of 36 that were levels 2 to 5. And so it's looking very promising as we move on forward. For third grade, we have 87 out of 37 students that are levels 2 and 5, which we're moving forward. When you look at these graphs, they start off based on the average student on how they perform, and then it creates a trend line as to what the expected growth is. So as you notice, these data points every month is higher than the expected growth rate for all first, second, and third. We did see kind of like a little dip in April, but it was kind of like, do we take the test, do we not? We went ahead and moved forward, took the test, and we see that they progressed very nicely, third grade in May. So coming back to our STAR results, this is third grade reading. And it correlates real nice. Well, this one's a little bit off, but when we get to the math, you'll see how it kind of speaks very nicely, I-Station with our STAR results. It's pretty spot on. So in looking at our spring STAR results for RLA, our end of year, out of 118 students, 84 were at approaches, meets, and masters. Only 34 students, and these are actual student numbers, only 34 students did not meet. So I wanted to share this with you all as well. It's just an additional. May I approach the bench?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So that first, it's a front and back. That first page that you're looking at, or where it says reading, I want to direct your eyes to that. And so at that reading, you'll notice that we outperformed, or Zavala outperformed the region and the state in approaches for going from 28 versus 26, and meets being at 34 versus 28. So in reading, we outperformed the region and the state.
Congratulations, Noemi.
I have to say something, I really do. This is my first time sitting at this board table in 12 years that we're not in an IR status. And I am very, very proud of y'all, very.
How about an applause?
All honor and glory to God first and foremost. I know our teachers really kind of, we kind of kneeled into prayer and all of that, and we really hit it hard, the teachers did. So,
It was good teaching and buy-in, it was very good.
so if we can move on to, thank you. Okay. Is this our math?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So for our math, same thing, all this information remains the same. Math data. So 65, we're looking again at levels 2 through 5. 65 out of the 17 are moving along well, second grade. And this, again, this is I-Station data. 65 out of the 33 right here. These 33 are still level tier 3. So 65 out of the 33 are performing well. And third grade, you'll notice this correlation is what I was talking about. 102 out of these 24 are performing nicely. And if we look at this right here, we have the 28 that did not meet out of 118 students. So 90 students were at approaches, meets, and masters. Same graph style over here on the bottom. You'll see that a trend line was formed, and as they moved along, the students were performing at an average above the trend line of the national norm. So if you turn your sheet to the math part, you'll notice that LDZ had a higher average score for approaches and meets and masters. Masters, we were a little off, but for approaches and meets, we performed higher than the region and the state, or LDZ performed higher than the region and the state. So in talking about what we're doing, what's different, what's going on at LDZ, so the third grade teachers, they collaborate a lot together. They have a common planning time to where they're discussing their data, they're really desegregating the data, they're looking at it at different ways, they're having those conversations as to what are you doing, what am I doing, how come you're performing this way, let's try this instead of that, we've been doing it this way for so long, how about we try something different, because what we've been doing hasn't been working. They have those discussions during their conferences, they have those discussions during their lunch, they include me in their group text messages where they're looking at the data, so they're talking data all the time, they're open-minded, again, to changes, they're willing to adapt, they monitor and adjust, and again, they break down the data. And as Maria had, she had shared earlier her data, they're coming in a lot stronger. So the district is looking very promising as Maria sends those DTR students to LDZ, and we pick up the baton from there and we start running with it. So it's just pouring new wine into new wineskins, pretty much. So
Keep it up. All right.
let them know, I'll let them know.
Thank you, Danny. Next, we have Mrs. Aleo Rabasa presenting end-of-year scoreboard for Benito Juarez Elementary. Good evening.
Good evening. So our end-of-year campus enrollment is 274 students. We did take a 1% dip in attendance. We did have about 5 students that we retained this year for excessive absences. So that probably figured into the calculation. Looking at our PEIM student data, you'll notice that the greatest population when it comes to the different demographics is our special education population, which is about 15% of our population. So these students have individual education plans with either resource or inclusion or self-contained. For teacher certification, we have 71% of our teachers that were certified, 29% that were not certified. Looking at our ISD data here, 99% of our students did take the assessment. 62 students were at level 1, meaning that they are tier 3 struggling readers that still have difficulty with phonics, phonemic awareness, have not really learned how to read, or struggling to read. But they were impacted by the pandemic. So we do have the 2 grade levels that were kindergartners or first graders during the pandemic. So they got maybe 15 minutes of online instruction their kinder year, and then of course their first grade year was impacted as well. So we know that across the state these students are experiencing a gap in their learning. So our teachers are doing amazing work trying to close that gap, and we did see some promising evidence here. If we look at the Lexile student measures here for reading, this is the trend line. We can see that the students started below the trend line, but they grew and they ended up, doing a lot better than where they started. Same here with our 5th graders. There's a trend line, and you can see that they started off here at the bottom, and at the end they ended up making gains. So they are closing the gap. As far as our STAR data, it does correlate to the ISIP as well. You can see that the more students we have struggling at level 1, the greater the number with STAR. not being able to get to the approaches level. As far as the approaches level, let me start with fifth grade. 61 students were below approaches, 29 at approaches, 24 at meets, and 13 at masters. In grade 4, 51 students below, 41 approaches, 26 meets, and 8 masters. Any questions about this reading data? Okay. And math. All right, math data. So here is the ISIP results for the math. In fourth grade, we have 45 students at level 1, 35 at level 2, and then you see the level 3, 4, and 5 here, 17, 12, and 19 in fourth grade. Fifth grade, level 1, 46 students, level 2, 31, 2, 3, and 4, 23, 20, and 8. So again, it does correlate to the STAR data. The more students we have struggling in the level 1 and 2, that number correlates to the students that did not meet on the STAR. So it does, again, show here in the trend line that although we did not see the outcomes that we wanted, we still see the growth. We see that the students started with very low quantile levels and they ended up here. So for example, in fourth grade, the lowest on average was about a 480 quantile, and they ended up on average with a 630 quantile. So there is growth there. And in fifth grade, the same. The lowest here is about a 540 quantile, and they ended the year with about a 680 quantile. So again, the growth is there. Of course, it's not as much as we would have wanted.
It hasn't caught up yet.
It hasn't. Okay. As far as what we're doing, we're always evaluating our data, making sure that we're addressing the needs of all of our students, because we have a wide range, whether you have the gifted and talented students and then those that are struggling, making sure that we differentiate instruction and that we find the time during the instructional period to pull out small groups and provide them with more targeted instruction. Looking at the master schedule, how can we find more minutes or more time for either our students to be given that intervention or for our teachers also to have the time to support one another and collaborate, because we know the importance of them working as a team. So we hope that this year, especially after looking at the data that we just saw from Lorenzo de Zavala, that we are going to be able to continue that progress and that movement forward with these incoming fourth graders. Any questions for me?
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosso.
Next, we'll have Sterling H. Fly Junior High. Mrs. Flanagan is going to present their end-of-year scorecard.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello. Hi, Janie.
All right, so we're gonna start off with our reading, and it's hard for me to read these things. All right, so our enrollment right now is 376. And we went from 90% attendance rate to 91, okay? So even though it's only a 1%, it helped out that we had a truant officer, okay? Because they worked all those cases, so really good. All right, but the next thing is I want you to focus on the certifications. For example, we have 78% of our teachers are certified, and we have 22% that are under the all certified. And then the percentages are there as far as the PINGS data. Okay, then, okay, I'll go back to the STAR. So then for the ISIP, we usually, we did 92%, okay? So here is sixth grade, okay, with 43, 26, 17, 19, and 12. Of course, we start off with level 5, level 4, and so on. In seventh grade, we have 42, 26, 13, 11, and 10. Eighth grade, we've got 53, 18, 18, 13, and 12. So as they progress, we want to see them here at level 5, okay?
Oh.
Sorry. Matthew, help you. Thank you, okay. And then, here is the Lexile for 6th grade. So this is where we started, and as you can see it trending all the way up, okay, to May. I don't remember what happened in April.
We didn't test in April
Okay, we didn't test in April.
because we were start testing.
Okay, all right. So there's 6th grade, okay? And then 7th grade, okay, you can see it kind of like, we're not so sure we're doing this right, but then we see a big jump. Okay, so we did all right. Right, and then in 8th grade, as far as the Lexile, same thing again. We're jumping back and forth, and here we go, here we go, here we go. And then, am I touching it or what? Or is it staticky? Okay, so now, I was gonna get back to the star, okay? So for 6th grade RLA, okay, we had 46 that were below, 30 that was approaches, 26 under the meets, and then 14 under the masters. 7th grade, we have 46 below, 29 approaches, 25 meets, and then 4 under the masters. And then 8th grade, 37 below, 32 approaches, 35 meets, and then 14 masters. So this is our actual star results from last year. So we did actually pretty good. Okay. All right, let me go on to the next one. Okay, now this is math. Again, we have same enrollment, 376, and attendance went up. Now, when we look over here, certification, 17, okay? We've already seen that. We'll get to star in just a minute. All right, so then under the ISIP, okay, this is, when we test this every single month, because we need to know where the children are, because we need to concentrate on those areas that the children are not doing well. So, in junior high, they have all these other activities. They have football, they have basketball, they have, volleyball or cheerleading, all kinds of stuff. So they work harder, that's my point. They work harder because they want to be in all these activities, because you've got to pass to be able to participate.
Thank God for leverage.
Yes. Okay, so, I mean, the coaches push them, we push them, the teachers push the kiddos. So, we're all working together to make sure that these students are successful, okay? All right, so then under the ISIP, again, 6th grade results, 7th grade results, 8th grade results. And then, of course, you can see the different levels. And then here are the trend lines as far as the student quantiles for 6th grade. So again, here we go up, going up, going up, going up. So we did okay, and I touched it again. Darn, okay. Yeah, all right. Is this the right one, Matthew? Yes. Okay, all right, and then 7th grade, okay, same thing. Here we go, here we go, here we go, and then we ended up here. Okay, 8th grade, same thing. I did want to point out to you that in 8th grade, this is where we have the Algebra 1. Okay, the math teachers work really hard, especially Ms. Martinez for that algebra. So so far, we've done very well, and hopefully we will continue doing well. So just wanted to mention that just in regular 8th grade math, we are up like 19%, and according to the state level.
Awesome.
So, and then for algebra, we're at 21% higher than the state. So our teachers, like I said, they're working miracles, okay? And I think part of that miracle, like I said, is the extracurricular activities. Because now, like, we have tennis now, and, so I mean, we're just growing, and that makes a big difference, guys.
JD, and 7th grade, just to note that 7th grade also outperformed the state by 1%.
Yes, thank you, 7th grade. Okay. Questions? I didn't go into a lot of detail, but you already know where to look, so, all right.
Thank you, Janie.
Thank you.
And next we have our newest principal, Mrs. Rena Puente, presenting the end-of-year scorecard for Crystal City High School.
Hi.
Get a good one.
Hi.
Okay, so our attendance was at 89% in '23. It went up to 90, 1 point in '24. And ours is pretty black and white. It's star results, you know. English 2, we had 35 below, 30 at approaches, 51 at meets, and 5 at masters. And then in English 1, we had 57 below, 30 at approaches, 36 meets, 7 at masters. And then in US history, we had 4 below, 43 at approaches, 56 at meets, and 29 at masters. And then biology, 25 below, 57 at approaches, 36 at meets, and 2 at masters. And then algebra 1, we had 42 below, 55 at approaches, 19 at meets, and 6 at masters. So these are the first-time testers compared to the retesters. The retesters, we had 2 in biology below and 1 at approaches. These are the students that tested in December, in April, and in June. And these are our retesters. These really hit us hard in our accountability ratings, our percentages, and things like that. So as compared to the first-time testers, it's just a comparison of the first time and the retesters.
Rena, do you want to share with the board what we did? Because if you take a look at the first-time testers in comparison to the state, our first-time testers actually did really well. Our retesters are not performing as well as we would like for them to be. So what Rena has done, Rena and her administrative team and the counselors have done is they've revamped the master schedule. So do you want to?
Yes, so what we looked at the data of our incoming 8th graders. They did really well. So we don't want them to regress. So we changed the master schedule to individually roster our students according to data. So our 8th graders, even the approaches, we're providing that extra support because we don't want them to regress. So they're evenly distributed as our special pops as well, evenly distributed in the classrooms. So that helps us with smaller class sizes. So we also have, I think we have about 12, 13 in each class of English 1 and English 2. We also opened up for retesters, the RTI, smaller groups as well. We have Ms. Melendres coming from AEC to help us. We also have Ms. Fernandez, who's taking on two sections of retesters as well. And then we also have RTI classes for our our students from 8th grade that didn't pass at all. So they're getting that extra support as well as their tier 1 instruction already. So we created the master schedule. And when I say we, it really was we. The counselors have been amazing. Ms. Briones, everybody, Sarah, Robert, Matthew, I call everybody, whoever I need to call for any questions or answers that I need. They've been really, really supportive and helpful with that. But the master schedule has changed a lot. We also have been, the RTI classes per data, we've also been working on systems and processes at high school. Small things that needed to shift to be able to ensure that our culture is academic forward. So I've seen a really huge shift in mindset. Our teachers are great teachers. We have great teachers at high school. And it's not that they needed a push, they needed a pull, right? Push is when you don't want to do it. They want it. They want to do well. It's not, no es por no tener ganas. They want to. They just needed a little pull and help with systems and processes. So that's what I've been working on, especially the climate and culture at high school.
And vice principals.
Yes, we have Mr. Baxter for the discipline, and then we have Ms. Gomez also helping us. Yeah, they've been great. They've been great. Mr. Baxter just came on board, but it's making a big difference. It really is. And we've shared with the staff, everything we do, it's a trickle effect. You know, from the simplest things of discipline, it trickles all the way down to parent involvement, so which we've been trying to promote more.
What are counselors?
3. We also have Miss,
Steele.
yes, or Ms. Gonzalez. Yes, Mrs. Gonzalez. We have Miss Italia Escamilla, who's been awesome and amazing. And we also have Miss Torres helping. So they've been doing really, really well.
Vicky has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The CCMR, how is,
Yes, we've also opened, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. We've also opened up more dual credit classes. We have Miss, can I say names? I don't know, Miss Tapia, she's teaching also through the junior college and more dual credit classes. We've also completed the programs, Ms. Garcia, for the CTE, the programs of study for our CTE, for our technical programs. Yeah, so that's really gonna help us with our accountability rating for.
SAT, ACT testing.
Monday?
We're increasing SAT and ACT testing.
Yes, SAT, yeah, testing.
So right now, right now they have a total score in CCMR of a 76, but that's for 22-23. Sarah and the counseling department have been, along with the administrative team, they've been working very closely with how to track students and make sure that we really maximize CCMR. So we know that for the 24-25 school year, which is going to be the outcome of 23-24, we know that they are going to hit a B, at least a B, if not an A. And then moving forward.
Mrs.
Yes.
Solonsky is now our CTE coordinator, and she is all on board. If you guys know, when she's passionate about something, she's all in. So she's been helping us a lot and working well with Mrs. Garcia on our CTE.
What was that comment on the SAT? Did I hear it right?
SAT, more testing, because before, I believe, Matthew, if I'm correct, we didn't have them testing at the lower grades, or not lower, but before juniors and seniors. So now we're starting a little bit earlier.
For example, I have a grandson who's a sophomore. Will he be given the opportunity to do a pre-SAT test?
Yes, sir. So this year, starting in October, we're gonna start with an SAT and an ACT administration for all juniors who are needing. And then in the spring, we'll take the PSAT for all sophomores, and then we'll have another opportunity for SAT and ACT as well. And I know last year we were able to get the sophomores last year, which are the juniors, all of them tested PSAT, and then we were able to test ACT and SAT last year.
And it's going to be open to all the students, not just select group within each grade level?
No, it's open. It's going to be open. I believe we'll try to get about 100, and then it's kind of like the first 100 who sign up, just because of the spacing.
I had a comment, I'm not too sure if my colleagues know, but I was looking at the dual credits that high school is offering, Rena, and if you total them up, it's like 60 hours.
And that's the goal.
60
That's the goal. The goal is each
I mean, yeah, and I know you guys added, it's not the personal growth and development, the anatomy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to, get them with an associate's degree by the time they graduate. It would really help our community in pushing forward for post-secondary education and help them already.
Community and families. Families.
And of course, you also have open dual credit classes too, as early as freshman year.
Freshmen can take dual credit classes too.
That's good.
So lots of work at high school, lots of work at high school, right?
And senior sunrise.
Over there. Yes. Welcoming my daughter.
What are
Thank
you
very much.
making for dinner?
Oh,
Just kidding, sorry.
porque dijo que le ibas a hacer algo.
Thank you, Rena. Thank you.
I gotta go home and cook.
Thank you, principals. Are we ready, Mr.? Are we ready to move on to the next one?
Sure. I thought we were going to just go into it. We also have 9D, which deals with the summer school presentation.
So at this moment, Mr. Moreno, who is the summer school coordinator, will give you results for 2024 summer programs.
And real quick, I just did want to mention that the SAT and ACT is offered during school, so it's actually a school day.
Good.
So they don't have to.
Improvement.
All right, so as we're looking here at summer school, So a little bit on the program information. Summer school this year ran from June 10th to July 3rd. So it was a total of 18 days that the students could come in, work, do what they needed to do. This is the breakdown of the numbers that we had for this year. So in first grade, because the first grade are really the kinder students. So as we remember, our summer school program is an acceleration program. So that means that if they were a kinder, they went to go get accelerated for first grade, second, kind of onwards that way. So first grade, we had a total of 32 students who participated in the program. In second grade, we had 27. In third grade, we had 36. In fourth grade, we had 75. Fifth grade, we had 72. Sixth grade, we had 55. Seventh grade, we had 35. Eighth grade, we had 40. And then in high school, we had about 80 students. And as a reminder, as we get into these grade levels where they're starting to be tested, the students who were recommended to come to summer school were the students who were unsuccessful on the STAR test. So that's why the numbers get a little bit bigger once we get past like the fourth grade, because those students were unsuccessful or needed to come in to help make up their hours that are needed by House Bill 1460. So we'll go to the next slide. So the way that we ran summer school this year is we had a pre and a post test, and that pre and post test was done by their ISIP. So they all took an ISIP. Test on that very first day, and you can see here how it broke down. So on the pre-test, we had right here. So we had this is reading, yes. So in first grade, the students started at a beginning reader of 250. By the end of those 15 days, we had beginning reader 230. So they were able to grow 20 lexiles in 15 days. In second grade, we started at a beginning reader of 45, and we ended in 50, which was a growth of 95 lexiles. That's really good in a year. In 15 days. In 15 days, that's a lot. That's really good. It really spoke to those teachers. In third grade, we had 315, and we went up to 320, so we saw about 5 lexiles there. In fourth grade, we were at 390 lexiles, and we stayed at 390. So they didn't regress. They stayed where they were at. So we know that at least when they come in the spring or in the fall, they're not going to be regressed. In fifth grade, we had a 490 lexiles. We did see a drop in 485 lexiles. We saw a drop of about 5 lexiles. But it's within that margin, where it's pretty much the same students. You might see some students who didn't test because they left, things like that as well. Sixth grade, we had 625 lexiles at the beginning. We ended at 635, which was a growth of 10 lexiles. In seventh grade, we had an average of 640 lexiles, and we ended at 670, which was a growth of 30 lexiles.
Good.
In eighth grade, we started at 730, and we ended at 750, which was a growth of 20 lexiles. And of course, this was just the reading. They averaged about an hour and a half of reading every single day, depending on the grade level. The reason high school is not here is because high school kind of falls into a little bit more different category. So we'll talk about high school in just a minute. All right, so here we're going to talk about math. In math, again, a reminder, these are the kinder students, or these are our current first graders, the ones that started first grade today. They started at an emergent math of 200, and they ended at an emergent math of 180, which means they grew 20. So I know it's kind of like, well, that's less than this, but just a reminder that emergent math means that kind of like negative. So that's like negative math 200, and they grew to negative 180. So that's really, they grew 20. They grew 20 quantiles. In second grade, they were emergent math of 35 quantiles, and they ended in 15. So that means they crossed over 0 and kept going more. So they went 35 to 0, and then they went 15 more on top of that, which was a total of 50 quantiles growth in those 15 days. In third grade, they started at 155, and they ended at 170, which was an average of 25 quantiles. In fourth grade, they started at 415, and they did drop to 400 quantiles, which is a drop of 15 quantiles. In fifth grade, we started at 485 quantiles, and they ended at 505 quantiles, which is an average of 20 quantiles that they grew. In sixth grade, they started at 650. They ended at 660, which is a growth of 10 quantiles. In seventh grade, 610 quantiles. They grew to 645, which was a growth of 35 quantiles. And in eighth grade, it was 755 quantiles, and they grew to 790 quantiles, which is an average growth of 35 as well. Here, this was also an hour and a half of math, but we also had to incorporate a Zern our Zern math program as well into the equation. And I know that's something that's also going to continue growing into the school year. And Zern is really good because it's going to start showing those little pieces that are missing in those figures, which is why we're able to see a lot of growth in quantiles, because they were really picking up those pieces that were missing. So the total amount of students who have completed their required House Bill 1416 hours, we had fourth grade, which was 67. So 67 students, again, this is just fourth grade through high school. So fourth grade, 67 students were able to complete their hours, meaning that they don't have to come to, of course, they're gonna be recommended still to come to after-school tutorials, but we met the requirement that was required for this. In fifth grade, we had 52 students. In sixth grade, we had 38 students. In seventh grade, we had 27 students. In eighth grade, we had 28 students. At high school, we had 64 students who met the requirement, and then on top of that, we also had 37 courses that were recovered due to, when the students are absent, they don't make up their hours, they had to make up hours. So we had 37 courses that were able to be made up within those 15 days, which is kind of really good. Because when I was looking at the courses, I was like, how are these kids going to finish in 15 days? But hey, they did it. So they did it. So that means that speaks to what they were working. I remember seeing them come in and they would put their headphones on and said, let's go to work. And they were there to work. So it was really good. But overall, the summer program ran really, really smoothly. There wasn't many issues. That week that we went for testing, we were able to get the majority of the testers to come in. We already reported on the scores. Those scores are incorporated into those high school scores and the retester scores. So that's why I didn't want to put it there again. But overall, it was really positive. I know the teachers, they were really there for working. They really wanted to work, and they really knew that they had to help the students. So overall, it was a really great experience this summer. Mm-hmm. You have any questions?
Thank you, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bonilla, if it's okay with you at this time, I would like to release the principals, because they have to get ready for tomorrow. So principals, you are free to go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Aye.
Have a super year, okay?
Thank you.
Say hi to Chubby.
Ready to continue? We're ready. All right, we're going to item 8, which is the action items. A, discussion action to approve the certified appraisal roll for the River City ISD. Ma'am?
Just give me 1 minute.
Five, six. Right. 5, 6.
Yeah, 56 is the page number.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the certified appraisal roll for the Crystal City ISD.
Is there a motion on the floor to that effect?
I'll move.
Motion made by member Guerrero to go with the recommendation. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second made by member Peggy Young. Any comments or questions?
Just one question real quick. Did anybody or from here, from the school have to review it or anything? You just,
Florencia reviews all the certified totals,
okay.
yes.
All right, let's go ahead and, is there any other comments or questions? Go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes. That's 6-0. B, discussion action to approve a resolution to appoint a designated officer responsible for calculating and reporting the no new revenue tax rate and the voter approval tax rate as determined by state law. Ma'am?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve a resolution to appoint a designated officer responsible for calculating and reporting the no new revenue tax rate and the voter approval tax rate as determined by state law. And the designee is Mirna Estrada for the district's business manager. That is my recommendations, yes.
Is there a motion on the floor in reference to the recommendation?
I'll move.
Okay, motion made by member Nora Guerrero to go with the recommendation. There a second?
Second.
Second made by Secretary Ray Espinosa, and make sure that the minutes that does include the name of the representative, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Comments, questions? Going to take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. C, discussion action to approve the final budget amendment for the 2023-2024 school year.
The
Ma'am,
recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the final budget amendment for the 23-24 school year. Any questions? Mr. Cepeda is ready to answer.
Sir, on this, is this this is gonna be money that's being rolled over to this coming year?
These are monies that you all approved during, at the beginning of the school year, and we just need to move them to the new functions. In school leadership, we're moving $263,230 into extracurricular activity, which is function 36, facilities, maintenance and operations, which is function 51, and the amounts are on the right-hand side of the column. And vice versa also for the instructional, where these are monies that you all have already approved at the beginning of the school year last year. We're moving $690,000 into those functions. These are not extra monies.
and it's balanced the budget that we just ended.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Recommendation?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the final budget amendment for the 23-24 school year.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion.
Motion made by Secretary Ray Espinosa to go with the recommendation. There a second? Second made by Member Sam Houston. Comments, questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes. Are you voting yes, sir?
Yes.
Okay. 0. D, discussion action to approve the proposed budget for the 2024-2025 school year.
The
Ma'am,
recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the budget for the 24-25 school year as presented in public hearing.
there a motion on the floor?
I move.
Motion made by Member Nora Guerrero to approve the budget as presented. There a second? Second. Second made by Secretary Ray Espinosa. Any comments or questions? Okay, let's go and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sir? 6, motion passes 6-0. E, discussion action to approve the 2024-2025 CCISD compensation plan.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the CCISD compensation plan as discussed in closed.
There a motion to that effect?
Motion.
Motion made by Secretary Ray Espinosa to approve the recommendation. There a second?
Second.
Second made by Member Gabriel Espinosa. Comments, questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes. Yes, 6-0. F, discussion action to approve a resolution to adopt the 2024 tax rate. Ma'am,
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve a resolution to adopt the 24 tax rate.
do we need to put the amount of the tax rate into the record?
The tax rate, .953500 out of $100 to be assessed and collected by the duly specified assessor and collector as follows. 0.666900 out of $100 for the purpose of maintenance and operations, and .0286600 out of $100 for the purpose of payment of principal and interest on debt.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a motion to that effect? Motion made by Secretary Reyes Espinosa to approve the recommendation. There's a second by Member Nora Guerrero. Comments, questions? All right, let's go and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. G, discussion action to approve the proposal for student insurance for the 2024-2025 school year. Ma'am,
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the proposal for student insurance for the 24-25 school year
as presented.
as presented in your packet. Yes, sir.
there a motion to that effect? The chair motions to approve the recommendation. Is there a second? Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you want a second, ma'am?
Second, yes.
Okay. Second made by member Nora Guerrero. Any comments or questions?
Question, I mean, is it basically the same as last year?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 4, 5, 6, motion passes 6-0. H, discussion action to approve the employee health insurance benefits package for the 2024-2025 school year. Ma'am?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the employee health insurance benefit package as presented by Higginbotham, and representatives are here in case you need to have any questions answered.
For the representative,
Higginbotham?
I have one or two questions. Based on last year, I mean, did it go up, go down, stay the same? or-
Yeah, so first of all, when we look at annualized through the remainder of the few months that we're looking at, for the year, we had a fantastic year. We'll finish at negative 11.9% is what we're predicting over the next, obviously, there's still a couple months of claims to come in until the October renewal. But with the work and what we're recommending to do is that we'll continue to stay with Blue Cross Blue Shield in terms of the network, and the plan designs will stay the exact same for the staff. But we were able to negotiate a more competitive stop loss rate, which would predict a negative 2.7% reduction again. So our recommendation is to keep all of the plan contributions completely level to allow a buffer there for that 2% in the event that we had a bad year with claims in the next year. But it allows it to be level in terms of not only plan design, but also in price. The thing that's amazing over the 7 years that you've worked with, or the last recent 7 years and working with Joe Yops and now also us alongside Joe Yops, is that when you look back over 7 years, it's nearly a 5% decrease in rate from 7 years ago, which is really unheard of in this industry.
Dental is included also, the dental part.
Correct. Yep, correct.
Which I just want to know.
Yep.
It's basically the same.
Yep.
for-
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anybody else have a question?
Lorenzo, do you have any additional? No, we're good?
No, I think this is an awesome plan. The school district and the staff members truly enjoy it. We are privileged to have those plans, particularly, the out of pocket. They are so low, it is incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the employee health insurance benefits package for the 24-25 school year.
Motion made by member Nora Guerrero to go with the recommendation. There a second?
Second.
Second made by member Espinosa. Comments or questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. We got I, discussion action to approve the workers' compensation renewal proposal for the 2024-2025 school year. Ma'am?
The recommendation is that the board approve the workers' compensation coverage proposal. Mr. Pruski is here to answer any questions. If you can come to the podium, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The workers' comp hasn't changed at all on rates, and it's, y'all are in year 2 of your 5-year commitment with Edwards Risk Management Workers' Comp Services. And it's been running very well. The loss ratio is very good. And if you have any questions on the workers' comp, I can answer them now.
You're the same person that gave us the presentation last year.
Yes, sir.
No, I don't have any questions.
Good.
Anybody else?
Thank you, sir.
I'm next too, if you want to. Yeah.
Or we could say that you wish. But let's go ahead, ma'am. What's your recommendation?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the workman's compensation renewal proposal for the 24-25 school year.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Secretary Ray Espinosa to go with the recommendation, seconded by Member Nora Guerrero. Comments or questions? All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. Okay, J, discussion action to approve the property and casualty premiums for September 1st, 2024 through September 1st, 2025.
Sir.
Ma'am? Okay,
So this, do y'all have this in y'all's?
Yes, we do.
So I put this comparison together. The rate went up 17.8% on the property. It's the increases in property and auto. We have 2 new vehicles added to the schedule. The 3 reasons mainly are building costs, inflation, and reinsurance. Building costs, as you know, just through the roof on building a new school. And when we have a claim, it's a lot higher than we have our buildings insured for, but that's why we're in blanket. So, you know, if you have a $30 million building and you get a complete loss and it costs $40 million to insure it, we're gonna give you $40 million. So that's the good thing about being on blanket, but it's very hard to insure with building cost inflation and reinsurance taking hits. The AOP, it's the 3rd line item, deductible is $10,000. That's very good in this market. We see it going higher in the future. But as of right now, AOP is all over the perils, so anything but wind and hail, that's it's at 10,000. Water damage claim, anything like that, it's covered under that. So that's a good deductible right now. The wind and hail went up from 1.1% to a 2% with a $500,000 minimum. That's the 4th line item. I went out with CRC to see if I could get a buy down quote. And a buy down quote is gonna buy it down from $500,000 minimum to a $100,000 minimum. And for smaller districts, it's very hard to eat a $500,000 deductible on a hail claim. So that premium is $60,000 a year, just for from $500,000 to $100,000. And that's per occurrence. So if you have 2 hail claims, more benefit of the school district. The way I really look at it, for it being $60,000 and you're getting $400,000 worth of insurance, if you don't think you're going to have a hail claim, a major hail claim, in 6 years, don't buy it. It's not worth it. If you think you're going to have a major hail claim in 6 years, I'd buy it. So, I don't have an opinion either way. I just wanted to present that to y'all because I think $500,000 minimum is really, really hard to take. So we went out and found it. Other than that, I don't really have many other points of interest on the renewal. Do y'all have any questions regarding the numbers?
if we file a claim, we file it with you?
Yes, sir.
So it's just.
Well, you're gonna file.
We are quick to pay that premium. You guys gonna be quick to pay, what?
Claims?
Okay.
If it goes into reinsurance, it's a pain in the butt. And what reinsurance is, it's anything over $500,000. It is a pain. It's obviously paid. We have numerous school districts collect on that every year. And I actually had a school district that didn't buy the buy down. They had a major hail claim, and you know, it is what it is. And also, if it's a really bad storm, you might be able to pull FEMA into it, and you might be able to offset the deductible. It hadn't happened before, but I want to just try to throw everything out there before y'all make a decision.
On this, was the building that cover or?
Yes.
Yes, I was out here inspecting it with the inspectors and walking through it. And
We're gonna knock it down or?
We're waiting on fire marshals. There's a safety issue that we need to clear before we knock it down. Yeah, we have
What's
one more
gonna be
hurdle.
down before football games? Or
Probably not.
to put something around just
Yeah.
to make sure, I mean,
Yeah.
kids are not going with.
that's where that $10,000 deductible came in.
Yeah.
Really, that's a good
Really
thing to have in today's market. Is 10,000 on all of the perils is really good.
But we did have it covered with you guys.
Yes, sir.
What's the recommendation, ma'am?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the casualty premiums insurance for September 1st through 2024 to September 1st, 2025 for an annual rate of $483,314. and the additional deductible buy-down option for an additional $63,459.
Is there a motion on the floor? Motion made by member Nora Guerrero to go with the recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Second made by member Sam Houston. Any comments or questions? All right, let's go and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Aye.
All right, K, discussion action to approve the adjunct faculty resolution recognizing Zavala County 4-H organization as eligible for extracurricular status under 19 TAC Chapter 76.1 pertaining to extracurricular activities. Ma'am?
So this is an annual. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve a resolution recognizing the Zavala County 4-H organization as eligible for extracurricular status of 4-H organization and the adjunct faculty agreement. For questions, we are prepared to answer.
Hi, I'm Leslie Dominguez. I'm with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Office. This is an annual thing. Superintendent mentioned, it's just saying that we are responsible for the kids when they are in our extracurricular activities. It also says that we're allowed to ask for academic eligibility for some of our stock shows and some of our other 4-H contests, but that's kind of in a wholesome what it is. I also wanted to talk to y'all about a program that we will be hosting in November. It's going to be November 15th, and it's our safety day. It's going to be at the county stock show grounds. And what that is we have different presenters talking about ATV and UTV safety, chemical safety, tractor and equipment safety, hunting and firearm safety, fire safety, and first on scene safety. Those are some of the presentations we have scheduled for that day. And I would love for y'all to participate. It is targeted for 6th graders. So it would be kind of a field trip. The kids would go to the show barn and we would have them there for half a day. We will provide lunch for the kids and the teachers that are there with them. So I just hope y'all, or we can do that for the.
Sarah, can you mark the date?
Awesome. And I also wanted to offer y'all our services. I do agriculture, literacy stuff. So I wanted to come into the schools and teach that, mostly targeted to the high school students, but we can also do the younger kids. And I would like to work with the science teachers and try to connect that to y'all's TEKs that y'all need to follow. So that's just something else we can do.
Matthew, you'll coordinate that?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Dominguez.
Thank you, Leslie.
Very, very much.
What's the recommendation, ma'am?
Recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the resolution recognizing Zavala County 4-H organization as eligible for extracurricular status of 4-H organization and the adjunct faculty agreement.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion.
Motion made by member Javier Espinosa. Go with the recommendation. There a second?
Second.
Second made by member Nora Guerrero. Comments, questions? All right, let's go and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. Okay, we got L, discussion action to consider to approve the memorandum of understanding for the Ballet Folklorico. Ma'am,
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the memorandum of understanding for the Ballet Folklorico de Cristal. And Ms. Guzman is here if you should have any questions. Mari?
You need any type of explanation?
I mean, what are we approving?
Oh, okay. Well, basically, this is a program that actually the school has had for many years. But of course, now that I'm no longer an employee, I volunteer my services to the district to teach dances, folkloric dances from the regions of Mexico. Because the district owns an abundance of beautiful dresses and items that I even haven't had a chance to look through everything, but there's a lot. There's for sure demand because I get calls all the time. I wish I could do more. This year I'd like to invite 3rd grade because normally I do 4th through high school. And the reason I do 4th through high school, I get that question all the time, is because that's what we have. Those are the dress sizes that we have. We don't have smaller sizes.
or the district doesn't have smaller sizes. So I just want to continue and basically is using the gym at Benito Juarez, and then using the dresses that the school has, along with what I have, because I've been able to collect through organizations that donated shoes and practice skirts, and I'm working on dresses myself, just to grow the program. I have 11 girls right now, and there's some waiting in the wings just for tonight to see if I can recruit more and have a place to practice. We haven't practiced.
Okay.
And we have all these invites. Okay, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Recommendation, ma'am?
No, no.
Mari, go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
I just, I think I said it, right? I volunteer, so I'm not asking for money or anything like that.
Okay.
This time.
Thank you, Mari.
Thank you, ma'am. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the memorandum of understanding for Ballet Folclórico de Cristal.
Motion made by Member Sam Houston to
Second.
go with the recommendation. Second made by Secretary Ray Espinosa. Comments, questions? Okay, let's go and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes. Excuse me. M, discussion action to appoint the district IPM Integrated Pest Management Coordinator.
The recommendation is that the district appoint a district IPM coordinator, and that would be Mr. Albertico Hernandez for the school year.
Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll make it.
Motion made by Member Peggy Yang to go with the recommendation, seconded by Member Nora Guerrero. Any comments or questions?
Just, I mean, what is it? What is it gonna do overall?
We're speaking. Questions, come to the podium, please. It's the pest control.
I was not prepared, but
No, no más.
I went through a training
Okay.
on pest control and asbestos.
Yeah, and you,
Yes,
And we need to,
I got certified in that.
we have to have someone.
Now I'm going through campuses and checking out all that.
so we have to
Have to be in compliance.
assure the state that we have a person who's in charge of, and that's the, yes, and we have to formally bring him to the board.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, let's go ahead. If there's no other questions or comments, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. And discussion action to approve proposal for access control gate new install, is that, or we're missing letters?
Installation.
Oh, for new installation, okay.
The recommendation is that the board approve the proposal for access control gate new installation, and this is the third and final phase of our fencing project. Mr. Fernandez is here for discussions or for questions.
Anything you need to add, sir?
No, sir, just that the board has made a substantial investment in the safety of our students, and we just want to continue that and finish that off and continue to protect our students. So this is, like Ms. Brianna said, this is the final phase. So this would electrify all our fences and provide us access, like intercom systems through the fences for so that visitors can access the campuses. And also it'll provide employees with access to the gates through our current work cloud system that we have already installed in our district.
By when, I mean, well.
They're ready, if approved, they're ready to start by Monday, and it's a 6 to 8 week project. It's an extensive project. It requires a lot of work, but that's what they're promising, 6 to 8 weeks.
And when it's done, I mean, during the day, the gates gonna be closed, or?
Gates will be closed, yes, sir.
And there'll be one way in and one way out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And like I said, employees, if they go out to lunch, they'll have access through their key cards that they have right now, that we already carry. Every employee has a key card already.
So not parents going in, I mean.
They'll have to press a button for intercom, and then the front office can let them in. Yes, sir.
And that's the total?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and it's already in the new budget.
Okay.
And that's turnkey project.
Okay.
Everything will be done complete.
Can we have a key?
Thank you, sir. What's the recommendation?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the proposal for access control gate new installation.
Motion on the floor? Motion made by Member Gabriel Espinosa to approve, seconded by Secretary Ray Espinosa. Any comments or questions? All right, let's go and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion passes 6-0. Discussion action to approve letter of engagement for audit services for the year ending August 31st, 2024.
This is the annual letter of engagement, where we enter into the audit process that begins in October. We are proposing that Mr. Eid and company return to the district, so the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the engagement letter for audit services for the year ending August 31st, 2024.
Motion.
Motion made by Secretary Ray Espinosa. Excuse me, ma'am. You want to make the second the motion, ma'am?
No, I just said we already received our letter, right? We sent it back to Mr.
We need to second the motion before we can engage in
I'll
this.
second it, Mr. Ortiz.
Okay. Made by member Nora Guerrero. Now, ma'am, your comment?
We already filled out our paperwork and returned it to him, right? Didn't we? We got it in the mail?
About the conflict of interest, that kind of stuff,
Anything we need to report, stuff like that. It was sent back to him.
by individual trustee members?
You should have received it.
We should?
That was some time back, though.
Yeah.
But that was for the,
This is for the upcoming school year, for the upcoming.
should get another one, ma'am.
Audit.
Okay.
any other comments or questions? Okay, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 4, 5, 6, motion passes 6-0. Okay, 9, informational items, ma'am. We have the MOU, Better Living for Texas Extension Agent.
Better living.
So, memorandum of understanding, I believe, with Better Living for Texans Extension Agent.
Thank you.
I'm the Better Living for Texas Extension Agent for Texas A&M AgriLife. And my role is to promote nutrition, physical activity, and gardening.
Thank you. Oh.
And one of the programs that we have is Walk Across Texas.